What invention is so good that it actually can't be improved upon? P-trap, a simple elegant way to prevent odor from coming into your house via sink, toilet, etc. A lot of Asia still doesn't use this. Trust me, it makes a huge difference. We apparently have a bend in our plumbing near our septic tank that every few years gets clogged, and then I hear the sinks gurgle, and that's when I know to close all the bathroom doors and call a plumber because the smell is horrific. I can't imagine if that's just how it smelled every time the sink ran or a toilet flushed. I've heard the pincetter machine in bowling alleys has never had a redesign. It was perfect already. A mirror is as good as it gets for its usage. The XLR cable. Until they can beam something directly into your head, we kind of hit a dead end for perceived sound. The simplicity of what a cable can do by allowing both AC and DC power to flow through, so you can power and draw signal from a microphone. Plus the fact it's so simple to remove the noise you get from outside interference makes it even more genius. Paperclip. Last major patent was in the 1880s. On a similar note, the binder clip. Those little duckers are the source of many life hacks. Edit. Okay, I'll add mine. If you take 2 binder clips and clamp them together, you can make a holder for your phone to watch videos. Cast iron skillet est. 1707. Pizza. You can change it up. You can ruin it. And you can fold it half like a crazy calzone munching madman. But you can't beat perfection. The calzones betrayed me. The brick. It has been made of mud, then mud with straw, then mud with clay, then finally with clay alone. That is as far as progress has taken the brick in the, guess, 8,000 years since it was invented. And it is still in use today. Someone, lost in the obscurity of ancient history, realized that you couldn't build really strong stone structures with irregularly shaped small natural stones. And hewing huge lumps of stone into regular shapes was just ridiculously hard work. That person also observed that mud that fell into a fire was left hardened when the fire died down. So they figured that if you shaped mud into regular shapes, big enough to carry one in each hand, you would have all the advantages of small irregular stones and large geometrically carved stones, but with none of the drawbacks of either. This thought must have taken a second to dawn on the inventor. The practical work to prove the concept must have taken a weekend, at most. Perhaps a week or 2 to get the shape just right. And here we are, thousands of years later, and the damn thing has barely changed at all. The hollow concrete block is a major improvement. It's way more widely used around the world. And rubber is important, too. I'd say nail clippers. Rich and poor people all use the same thing to clip their nails. Rich people pay poor people to clip their nails for them. And those poor bastards use the same nail clipper the other poor bastards use. Zipper. Best way to merge in traffic. Rubber bands. They work. When I was a kid, rubber bands would last for years. Now most of them fail within a year or so. Because they removed the cocaine. The pocket. Most professional classical music instruments are already in their final stage like piano and violin. Edit. Wording. Taking the other tack, most orchestral scores do not feature saxophone because it wasn't developed until the 1840s, which is extremely recent on the musical timeline. I've been told it is, mostly due to pettiness link. B/BSFPS7PXG1E. A knife. It can do anything. Soup. That mini trident you use to scratch your back, man, that's the best invention of human race. IDK man, the lightsaber under my mom's bed was really nice when I used it as a back massager. The basic sewing needle. It really hasn't changed in thousands of years. There is no need for change. I'd argue that sewing machines are just advanced sewing needles. I still can't figure out how they work. I've seen animations and videos of the mechanics, but my brain refuses to process it, and it looks so simple. Almost too simple. The spoon is a pretty incredible invention. It can often sub as a fork or a knife, and it has a great name. Those special self-stabilizing spoons to help people with hand tremors feed themselves are pretty cool. Over-engineered for most people, but I'm happy they exist. I should make a self-stabilizing soldering iron. I have a moderate tremor and I can do most things, but I can't ducking solder. And I'm an electrical engineer. The soda can. The physics behind it have been perfected. There is a cool YouTube video about it. The steam turbine. It is such a useful way to convert heat into electricity that it would not be surprising to see one strapped to a fusion reactor if one ever get built. They're already strapped to fission reactors. That's pretty good, I'd say. Yeah, the steam turbine inventor was way ahead of his time. He really was a visionary. Plates. You can get the ones that don't smash. It's too good. Edit. Why is this my most upvoted thing on Reddit? Why? But thank you all for your upvotes. Zooples. Holy shit. I haven't thought about those things in years. You've just awoken some long forgotten memories. Windshield wipers. My engineering professor always lectured us on how perfect the design is and how the new changes made are strictly aesthetic and don't work any better. Until they invent one that cleans the whole window instead of just parts of it. Easy fix. Make the windshield in the shape that the wipers wipe. I was going to say a shovel, but it looks like people have already said spoons. What is a spoon but a very small shovel? What is a shovel but a very large spoon? Are you asking if there's an invention that does its job so well that nothing else can do the same job better? Like how a light bulb can give off more light than a candle. But so far we haven't produced anything that emits light better than LEDs. Or are you asking if there's an invention that perfectly solves a specific problem? Like if you want to keep dry while walking in the rain. Your best choice is an umbrella. Things that come to mind are AM/FM radio. It is about as efficient as it's going to get. The pencil and pencil sharpener. I don't really see how they can improve them. The match and lighter. The umbrella. The hammer. The bucket. The TV remote. The fishing pole. The hinge. The spring. Edit. Wow. I'm so surprised how much debate there is about the TV remote. I just thought of it and the other things I mention on their most basic principles. And the evolution of the items. How did the hammer come to be as we know it? Ancestors of man coming across a problem which required the use of blunt force and uses a stone. The stone is eventually attached to a handle for more control. The stone is eventually replaced with metal, likely bronze, formed with a more flat and even shape to ensure equal force is applied over a given area as well as more even wear. Also not having to worry about the metal breaking into shards like a stone. The way of attaching the hammer head to the handle went from tying with strips of leather to wedges. The handle went from bone to wood to composite materials, and continuously redesigning the handle for the most firm and ergonomic grip. The metal went from bronze to iron to steel. Also somewhere down the line a claw was put on it to allow you to remove and reset the nail. You need to apply blunt force to something. Your first go-to item is likely to be a hammer. Honestly, I don't see how you can make any more advancements to the hammer. The TV remote has gone as far as it can go. It started as a simple 4-button design. Channel higher, channel lower, volume, and on/off. More features were added over the years. Mute, last, menu, info, record, fast forward, rewind, etc. Now they are moving to voice control and apps. So while I don't think TV remotes will be completely phased out, I see no more improvements to them. Touchscreen. Why bother? Matches, can you get them to burn slower? Lighters, fluid based lighters, LED to electric and rechargeable. Are we gonna make them solar next? Pencil and pencil sharpener. Some people say mechanical pencil is superior. I disagree. It's an alternative, but not necessarily better. Mechanical pencil lead is very fragile and doesn't glide on the paper like the wooden pencil does. The pencil sharpener, be it electric or the hand crank mechanical, shapes the pencil to a fine point to use as much of the pencil as you comfortably can. AM/FM radio is affected by weather conditions, obstructions between the broadcast and the receiver, and the curvature of the earth. Repeaters allow for signals to travel farther for the purpose of simulcasting. But there's a reason why satellite radio is becoming the go-to format. The bucket you added a handle for easier carry, regardless of shape, size, the material it's made out of, or the material inside the bucket. All buckets are made for the purpose of holding/containing something. I'm not trying to say that these things are the be-all end-all for their intended purposes. Say you want to catch fish, obviously with one fishing pole, you can only catch fish one at a time, while with a fishing net you can catch many fish at once. So obviously you would want a net more than a pole. The fishing pole's design isn't likely to improve. What more can be done for it? Look at unnecessary inventions like fireworks. There's nothing to improve about them because they serve no purpose to begin with. They solve no real problems. There's nothing beneficial about them. Gonna have to disagree with the TV remote. It needs sharp pointy bits so people know when they're sitting on it. Also less of those buttons that serve no purpose but to confuse grandparents. Fire cooking. We've been trying to improve it for almost 2 million years. God, I hate electric stoves. I hate electronic stoves, but love electric ovens. The Schrader valve used to inflate your bicycle tires, car tires, tractor tires, etc. was patented in 1893. It is still used in virtually every tire on the planet. And now you know its name. Edit. My top comment ever. My ego is, like, inflated. Thanks. Jesus Christ. Mary. Their tires. I'm going to go out on a limb and say a doorway. It's a portal. Plain and simple. I dunno. Sliced bread is pretty hard to improve on. Plus it has made life easier for pretty much anyone who enjoys bread. I present to you double cooked sliced bread. I'll toast to that. The wheel. What are you going to do? Make it rounder. Edit. Guys, it's a joke. I understand that the modern wheel has brakes, suspension, and requires an axle. You can stop blowing up my inbox. Well, they put a tire on it. Chopsticks. Talk about consistency. It has been the same way for I have no idea how many years. Brooms haven't changed, no matter how hard Swifter tries. I agree. Brooms really are as good as it gets. Brooms came close, but brooms are definitely the best way to sound like a car. Scissors are the perfect tool for cutting and shaping material that will likely never be improved upon. Duct tape. Hitachi magic wand. Ravioli. How else you gonna encapsulate cheese inside a noodle? Pierogi. They are a type of Polish dumpling. They are like ravioli, except you pan fry them instead of putting them in sauce. And a wider variety of fillings. Most cultures have some type of dough with filling. Dumplings, pierogi, ravioli, momus, empanadas, wonton, etc. It's because they are always delicious. Aside, I was at my cottage over the weekend, and I had to cut some grass. I forgot my lawnmower, but I had an old scythe in the garage that I inherited a long time ago. I was just keeping it as a decoration and memento, and never thought of actually using it. I was bored, and I had some time, so I sharpened the blade and went to work. I don't know the first thing about scythes or even how to properly use them. I just started swinging it. I couldn't believe it actually cut grass and weeds. The longer I worked, the more detailed I could get with where I swung it. 2 hours later, I had cut the lawn, cut down some tall grass on the edge of the property, and had started cutting down some light brush that I thought I needed a brush cutter for. This scythe must be decades old, but it still works better than my lawnmower, edge clipper and brush cutter. All without a motorized engine. Common wood screw or nut and bolt as a fasteners. They've definitely improved on the screw and bolt. Screws have different head types, different thread types for different materials. Same with bolts, captured bolts, lock nuts and washers etc. Fender Telecaster. I don't have an answer, but just want to say that this is a great question. Well done op. Condoms. Any thinner, they'd break. Any thicker, and it's fake. What about a condom that just covers the pee hole? It's called flex tape. A hair comb. Even ones found in ancient Egypt and elsewhere are basically the same design. The game. What else can you do to it? It's nearly global. It's one of the few non-consensual things in the world that doesn't hurt you. And it's fun to play by yourself or with 3 trillion plus. 3. 5mm audio jack. Hey, thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.